What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we're doing part two of our most anticipated punk rock albums of 2023. If you missed episode one, maybe there'll be a card right here if I figured out how to do it. If not, there'll be a link down below. We talked about Less Than Jake. We talked about Frenzel Rom, MXPX, all that stuff. So if you're looking for popular bands, that's probably the video to check out. In this video, we're kind of talking about some smaller bands, which I'm pumped about. That's the reason I started the channel, was to talk about small bands. And I'm joined today, as always, by Dylan, aka Screeching Bottle Rocket from DyingScene.com. How you doing, Dylan, on this beautiful Saturday?
I'm free from the clutches of my oppressive place of employment, and I'm ready to rock.
All right, so we picked 10 albums, guys. We're gonna limit this to 10. I think we did 12 on the first one. If there's something we missed, feel free to drop it down below. We'll do it in a later video. It seems like 2023, every band that's ever existed is putting out records. So yeah, leave it down below if we missed your band. But we're going to start this episode with 30 Foot Fall, who we just talked about in the Fearless Records video. They've been largely inactive for the better part of the 21st century. But Dylan, you're convinced there's an album coming out this year. For me, it's still kind of like a pipe dream. We know that they signed to People of Punk Rock for some reissues, but what do we know about this full-length album that's apparently in the mix?
Not a whole lot. Of course, I can't find the interview I'm going to reference, but I watched an interview they did on YouTube. I think it was last year they did it, and it was like backstage at a show or something. They were talking to like the local newspaper or something, and they mentioned that they had songs written years ago before their guitarist passed away. One of their guitarists passed away in 2017. So apparently they have a bunch of songs that have been written since 2017, but they haven't finished recording all of them. So they said that they wanted to release something. I don't know if it was an album or just an EP of those songs, and then move on to finishing up writing and recording new material. So interesting situation they're in. That single they released in 2017, I think, was part of that batch of songs that they wrote.
Was that the like Jesus, Elvis, Richard Petty, or like Champion song, right?
Yeah, Champion song.
Okay.
I think it was called Song of Champion, something like that.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, Champion song. Yeah, so. Yeah, remember, if you guys didn't watch the first video, we ranked our anticipation level or excitement level for these albums. I don't like the Champion song that much, but these guys have released a lot more good music than bad. So let's put it at a 7.5, our first half-point rating in this series. How excited are you for this? I think it could be interesting.
I am hesitant. I mean, I'm definitely excited if it's going to come out. I do love 30 Foot Fall. I think both of our favorite record by them is Ever Evolving, Never Evolving. But I really like Acme 143. I even like Doppler Effect. The EP that came out sometime in the last 15 years, I wasn't big on. I wasn't big on Champion song either. So I'm a little hesitant. But no matter when or what it is that comes out, I'm definitely I'm stalling here because I don't know what I'm going to rank it as.
It's on People of Punk Rock, so it's got to be good, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go 7. It's been so long that I'm definitely looking forward to it. So I'll go 7. We're both pretty excited. I really hope this comes out because I definitely like to hear it. Up next, we're going to do Chaser. One of my top 10 albums of 2021 was Dreamers. Sounds of the Sirens, I think is what it was called, is in my top 10 of 2018. So no reason to think these guys aren't going to make it into my best of 2023 list. What do we know about this one? I've seen that they're recording, but do we know definitively it's coming out this year?
I've seen Mike Ladon, their singer, say he's very active on Facebook and stuff, and I've seen him reply to people that the album's coming this year, so I can't imagine it would take them that long to record it. I'm super excited for this, man. Chaser has been around a real long time, and around the time they released their second most recent album, Sound the Sirens, they had a big lineup change. They were on hiatus for a while, and they came back, and it was Mike and a bunch of new guys. Um, and Jesse, I think their bassist, was still in the band. But yeah, their last two records are their best, which is definitely not typical for a band that's been around 20 years to be putting out their best stuff this late in their lifespan. Dreamers, by far their best album. So if it can top that, I think it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to go with a 10 on Chaser.
10 out of 10. All right. Yeah, and but I just want to shout out how beautiful the album art was too on Dreamers.
That's
I think
awesome.
it was some of my favorite album art of that year. So for Chaser, I'm gonna go 8 on Chaser because I think the last two they're both really good, but I think we know what we're getting from them, which can be a great '90s. You know, they kind of glorify that they're like kind of a nostalgia based band. There's a lot of songs about the past and stuff in the punk rock scene. So I know what I'm gonna get with it. I know I'm gonna get a great record. I'm gonna put it at 8 out of 10 anticipation level for Chaser. So now we've got another band coming up that it's been quite a while, I think, unless I missed one. We have Implants, which is members of Strung Out, Poli, No Use for a Name, Face to Face, maybe some more bands. They're signed to El Jefe's Cybertracks. What do we know about this one, Dylan? I haven't seen much about this record coming out, but you had dropped this on the list.
Yeah, they Cybertrax released like a little press release in September of 2022. First, they announced that Jake from Strung Out joined the band. Rob Ramos, Strung Out's other guitarist, was already in the band, but Jake Kiley's in the band now. And in the same press release, they announced the band was in the studio doing pre-production for their new album. So, I mean, if you guys follow Strung Out too, you know Strung Out's in the recording studio the last few months. So if I was a betting man, I'd say this Implants album's probably done and they've moved on to the Strung Out record. So hopefully it comes soon. I'm sure there's all kinds of delays with pressing plants and stuff that are holding them up on announcing it. But yeah, it's been when did that album come out? Like 2012, From Chaos to Order.
I think the album was 2013, and there was like that EP, Olden Age, was a few years after it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a decade since that album came out, and that I remember that there was so much hype around Implants when they released some demos and stuff leading up to that album, and they were fucking hot shit, man. They went on tour with NoFX. I think I saw them open for NoFX. So I'm pretty excited for this. I think it's going to be good. Let's put it at an 8 for me.
That's exactly where I was going to. I'm glad that they're not going to be a one and done band because that first album is so good. But yeah, I will also go 8 out of 10 on Implants. If you don't know them, just look at the band's members that are in there. You can kind of gauge what kind of style they play. But some Epitaph style punk rock, I think Dylan and I, if it does come out, I feel like it's pretty safely going to be on our list. So
yeah.
Moving on to the next one, another one that you've told me is in the works, or at least in some shape or form is in happening. We got the Suicide Machines, and I'm honestly, Dylan, I'm not going to hold my breath on this one because the last time we got two Suicide Machines records within like 3 years of each other was Steal This Record and A Match Some Gasoline in 2001 and 2003. So Revolution Spring, amazing album. Whiskey Well Wishes, one of my favorite Suicide Machines songs. I thought the split they did last year was kind of lackluster, but even saying that, if this comes out, it will easily be in my top 5 most anticipated. So share with us, share with the people, what do we know about what's Jason Navarro and the Suicide Machines up to?
Yeah, Mr. Navarro, about a month and a half ago, posted on Instagram like a whiteboard with some song titles and like it was like breaking down the structure of the songs they were working on. There was 4 songs. I can't remember the titles, but one of them or 2 of them said black metal in parentheses next to the song title. So I guess I mean they've always been on the more hardcore side of ska-core, but maybe there's some black metal stuff going on here, like fucking Guttermouth, Corpse Rotting in Hell or whatever that song is. Maybe we'll have some shit like that on here. But yeah, interesting. He took the post down since then, so I don't know what the deal is. I doubt they're very far along in the recording process, and it was a very long time between Revolution Spring and the album that preceded it, so I don't know if this comes this year. But if it does, it's probably going to be fucking good, and hopefully it's on Fat or maybe Bad Time. So let's go with the 7 on the Suicide Machine. They're kind of a wild card sometimes.
So I'm looking at my list here. I think in this episode, if this comes out, this will be my most anticipated on this list. So I'm gonna go 10 out of 10. I don't see it happening. So if it does, that my excitement's gonna be amplified. So yeah, I'm gonna go 10 out of 10. I remember now when we talked about this, because I was saying that maybe that's a Hellmouth thing with the black metal, but who knows? So everybody who's watching this, let's all collectively cross our fingers that we get a Suicide Machines record. But
he posted it on the Suicide Machines account. So
okay, so yeah,
and it had the hashtag Suicide Machines 2022 or something like that.
Oh damn! All right, well we'll see. I would definitely love that. 10 out of 10 excitement level for me. So let's move on. Dylan, I know you're really excited for this one. We got the band Not. It should be out in April, I believe, on Wiretap Records. All 3 singles have been awesome so far. Tell us what you know about this one.
Yeah, the singles keep getting better and better. They've had 3. The most recent is Alien. And yeah, I mean, this band, it's members of other bands. I think the singer's in a band called Sharp Shock. Oh. And then the other guys are in a band called Mercy Music. Mm-hmm. So relatively established bands, but it's weird. Like people latch on to things like this, where this is a side project for these guys, but it's probably one of the most popular things they've done. I think the record's sold out already.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole point of the band, I guess, was to write new original songs that sounded like they could have been written by All or the Descendants, mostly All. And the songs I've heard, they achieved that definitely, and it doesn't sound like unoriginal. It sounds like they're making it their own thing. So yeah, I'm very excited for this album. I already got everyone else did. If record sold out, maybe there'll be a second pressing, but Stop the World gets a 10 from me.
10 out of 10. Okay.
This will be in my top 10 albums of the year. I can tell you that.
I feel like it's got to be in mine too, because I really like all 3 songs too, and I think Alien's my favorite one also. But yeah, we talked like the day that first single came out, you had told me that it's something, in some way related to Descendants All. You could totally hear that within like the first 10 seconds. It's like, oh, is this All?
Yeah.
Where am I gonna put this one? Man, Wiretap, dude, that's another label that just has tons and tons of hits. So I'm gonna go 8.5. I'm going 8.5 on the Not album. We could stop the world. Maybe you could be my girl. Maybe I could give you some things that I promised you.
All right, next up we got a band we've been talking about quite frequently on our monthly best of videos, if you've been watching those. This is a surprise, it's a Canadian skate punk band on Thousand Islands Records. Dead All Right from Montreal. This is a one-man skate punk band. The guy sings in, I forget his name, but he's the singer for another band called Brand New Lungs. And every song has like a different guest vocalist from another kind of prominent skate punk band from the same scene. He's released 3 singles so far, and there's another one coming soon. Just like the Not record, I like all these singles. They sound great. I love the guy's singing voice. Let's give Dead All Right a 9.
9 out of 10. Okay. Yeah, so I'm with you, man. Like, we've been talking about these. I like all the singles too. I don't think Thousand Islands released a bad record in the last 2 years or so. So I definitely think it's gonna be a good one. Um, what did what did you go? 8 or 9? I don't remember now.
9.
9 out of 10. All right. So I'm gonna go on this one. I'm gonna go 8 also. I'll go 8 on Dead All Right. All right. So I'm bringing in now, we're gonna do Making Friends, who in my opinion, they're from the UK. One of the best up and coming new punk rock bands of recently. They've got 2 EPs out on Cat's Claw, and they got a split over there, and they are heavily influenced by Lagwagon and Captain Everything. And I tried to reach out to the band. I tried to get some details because everything about this is very hush hush, and they're sworn to secrecy. They would not tell me much. They did tell me that they recorded it with Daily George at the ranch in Southampton, which is a big jump for these guys. When I talked to them in 2021, they were recording in their living room, just using a Shure 57 for everything except for the drums. So a big bump there. We had the first single, Damage Report, come out a few weeks ago. And that had guest vocals from Chris from All Better. And I'm told there's a bunch more secret guests coming out on this one, but all secrecy. So there's another single coming out in a couple weeks. So maybe we'll get some more clarity on the album name, label, release, all that. But I am really excited for this one. I think this band doesn't have a single bad song yet. So I'm going to go 9 out of 10 on the Making Friends album. Dylan, where do you stand with this one?
Damage Report was my introduction to Making Friends. I'd seen the band name before, but I didn't check them out for some reason until now. But yeah, it made my best of February list. So I was very impressed by it. I don't want to spoil anything, but they did tell me it was coming very soon, this album. So who knows what that means? But they said I won't have to wait much longer when I told them that I couldn't wait to hear more from. So yeah, very exciting new band, and I think they're gonna do big things in 2023. So let's give them a 8.5.
All right, there we go. High score from them, and then we're moving on now to my top album of 2021. This was by Krang. And I talked to these guys earlier today because I didn't have a lot of details about what this album was going to entail. And I become pretty close with the guys that sent me that signed skateboard over there. So I thought I could hit them up for some details. And this one, what I found out, is not definitive for 2023. They're still preparing to record. They're doing it with Yotam from Useless ID. They've got 12 songs ready to go. It's just a matter of the logistics and getting everything together. So they're hopeful it'll be late, like fall, winter 2023, but it's possible for 2024. So Dylan, how did you feel about the last Krang record, Make Arcade Great Again?
I thought it was awesome, especially the album title is so cool. And the way they play off the title of the album and the lyrics on some of the songs is cool too. And the cover art.
Yeah.
Always a sucker for the cover art, man. So cool. Their first record is also very good, but I liked the most recent one. I thought it was a pretty good progression for them. I didn't know that Yotam was producing this. I wonder if they're gonna record it in Israel or if they're traveling to the Czech Republic to record, or what the deal is with that. But that's cool. I think that they definitely have a kind of Useless ID-ish sound, so definitely makes sense. Yeah, hopefully it comes out this year. I really like this band. They're very good. Let's go with an 8 on Krang.
All right. Well, it's going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. I love this band. I think I have everything they've ever released on vinyl. I pretty much buy all their shirts. I'm a big Turtles fan. I'm an 80s kid, so anything to do with Krang, and they've got a lot of merch with that. So I'm going 10 out of 10. I am super excited for this. I got my fingers crossed that it is 2023. But we'll see. If it's not 2023, it'll be my most anticipated of 2024. So let's keep it rolling. Up next, we've got a super underrated ska punk band from France called P.O. Box. I just added them on the list today because they put out 2 singles the last few weeks. The first one was awesome. It was one of my favorites of that week. Tossed it on Punk Rock Museum. And then yesterday, Friday the 10th, they had another new song come out, and I was like, wow, this is one of the best of the week again. So here we are. When you got two awesome singles like back to back, I'm going to toss you on the most anticipated list. Dylan, I didn't know they had four other albums. I'll be honest. I heard the one before this, but if these two singles are anything we can expect from the record, it's going to be really good. What do you know about this one? I saw you posted them yesterday. So any details for us?
I don't know anything more than you do about it, but yeah, I'd never heard of these guys before. John sent me a message and was like, "We're subbing out whatever band for PO Box," and my reply verbatim was, "Who the fuck?" And yeah, I checked it. I saw they came through in the Dying Scene email for like press inquiries, and I checked the new single out, "Safe or Sorry." They had a music video for it. And I was like, shit, dude, this is awesome. And I went and made a story about it, and that band John put on his most anticipated album. So I definitely see what he sees. The first single is also good. So yeah, there's some interesting guest features on the album too. Like I think the singer from Bad Cop, and someone from the JB Conspiracy, which is another good underrated ska band, is going to be on here. So I'm going to give P.O. Box a 9. Maybe one of my new favorite bands.
Damn, all right. And I just looked at the calendar. It's coming out May 26th. So
yeah,
this has a definitive release date. So for that one, I think maybe the first one on the list that's got a... Oh, no,
Not's coming out in April, so we don't have to wait much longer for that.
Okay, so Not, Making Friends, and P.O. Box all possibly, well, Not and P.O. Box definitely soon, Making Friends hopefully soon. All right, so for me on P.O. Box, I was going back today, but when I texted you, I was like, damn, dude, I got to check this on the list. The last record was really good, so I'm going to go 9 out of 10. I feel like this can't be a miss based on those two singles. Even if I heard an album and there was those two songs on it, it'd still be a good album. So 9 out of 10.
It reminds me a lot of, these guys are French, but it kind of reminds me of like Kamuri, like very like feel good, you know, like pretty positive ska punk, pretty happy sounding.
Yeah, and who doesn't like that? We need that in 2023.
Kamuri kicks ass, man.
All right,
they need to release a new album.
Last band for albums. We've got 2 EPs, I think, after this, maybe a little more. I think I skipped around. We had to cut the video in the middle, but we are doing now Slick Shoes. And Dylan, we've got the Tooth and Nail tier list coming out soon. And the Slick Shoes has always been a band. I've been aware of them. I had all the albums, but I never dove deep into the catalog. I was always kind of a casual fan. And then now I started listening to the Slick Shoes. I started listening to the Tooth and Nail tier list that Aaron made us, like the playlist. And I keep hearing them come on. And I was like, how have I not heard this MXPX song before? It's so good. And I look over and it's Slick Shoes. And it's happened like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, damn, like I've been missing out on these guys. Like all that, the songs are awesome from the 90s. So I saw you sent me that they are definitively recording something. Do we know if it's a 2023 release, or do we know that they're just, active again?
Well, I mean, they released an album a few years ago.
With Whispers, right? I remember
that. No. It was something with like an airplane on the cover. Let's see, it's one Spotify search away. So give me like 2 seconds here, and it was called Rotation and Frequency. So that only came out in 2020, so pretty recent. They were on hiatus prior for like recording prior to that. But yeah, Rotation and Frequency was pretty solid. It had a lot of like vocal effects that I wasn't too keen on. Not like auto-tune, but very like echoey. It was weird. But the album was pretty solid. It sounded in line with their like early 2000s output, the self-titled album Far From Nowhere. But yeah, Slick Shoes is like, I would say MXPX is my 1A when it comes to Tooth and Nail, and Slick Shoes is my 1B favorite Tooth and Nail bands. So I'm real excited for this. They're I don't think they started recording yet as of when they posted in the end of January, but they said they were writing and they had a picture of them all like in their practice space working on songs. So hopefully it's 2023. They don't seem to work super fast, but I mean, it just really does it take a year to make. So Slick Shoes gets a 8 from me.
Yeah, eight feels right. I think I'm gonna go 7 on Slick Shoes. I didn't really love the last album either. I don't know if that's kind of the sound they're going for, but yeah, I'm gonna go 7. I think it's gonna be good, especially because now I'm getting into the older stuff. It'd be cool to hear where they're going, where they ended up. So I'll go 7. And now, Dylan,
it's also worth noting, real quick here, for like real Slick Shoes fanatics. They had this album is going to be the first in like 20 years to feature one of their guitarists, which I can't remember his name right now, and my internet's not working. His name is Greg Tagawa. He played on the self-titled album and Far From Nowhere. So if you like those records, Greg's back in the band. Maybe this will sound a little bit more like the self-titled album, which is a pretty popular Slick Shoes record.
all right, there we go. So it sounds like it's definitely something happening. All right. So now, any other albums we want to hit real fast before we get EPs?
Well, like honorable mentions, The Offspring seem to be recording something. They posted from the studio a lot. Chicks Dig It, they've been working on stuff forever. At least since March of last year. They've been in the studio. There's another band called Wasei, Wasei.
Yeah,
they're from Italy. They're a skate punk
awesome.
band. They released a song like months ago, and then they haven't said any. But they have an album coming at some point. It's called Vulgar Misplay of Burkett. I don't know what that's all about. But, yeah, I mean the song sounded good, so it should be interesting. But let's move on now. Let's move on.
All right, so let's move on to the EP portion of the video. And the first band is Fake News, who Dylan's been talking to me about every day. The songs they have so far are awesome. I think the EP is pretty imminent. I think it's like April or May, right? Do we know a date, or what do we know about this?
Coming soon. So it could be tomorrow even, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, these guys are great. They're from Australia. They have a kind of a Wilhelm scream kind of vibe going on. Yeah, they're awesome. They've released 2 singles. They're 2 songs from this. And they're both really good. They were both they're 2 for 2 on our best of the month series so far. Their first single, Nothing Town, was on January, and Rise and Fall was on February. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I mean, it's an EP, so I'm not going to 10, but let's go with an 8 for the only punk band who can probably claim that they're sponsored by a pot pie fast food restaurant. They're sponsored by like Beefy's Pot Pies, which is some Australian like meat pie restaurant or something. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was right there with you with 8. I don't really listen to a ton of singles. I don't really listen to a ton of EPs, but based on these couple songs we've heard, I'm definitely going to be spinning this one. So I'm going to go 8 out of 10 on Fake News as well. And then the last one we're going to hit is Jughead's Revenge, who put out a new single yesterday. I texted you, I said, man, this sounds like straight off of one of their 90s albums, and like Images, Everything is an awesome record. Pearly Gates is awesome. And then my personal favorite Jughead's Revenge song is Domino, which is from the Just Joined record, which doesn't really get talked about as much, but it's another equally good record. I think that it's been like, I could be wrong. I may be out of the Jughead's Revenge loops.
24 years.
24 years. Okay. So it's been a long time. They clearly haven't missed a beat judged off of the single. This one's got a release date. I think. Let's see. Let me pull it up here.
May 5th
May
on
5th.
Spam, which I learned is pronounced spam
I always
from
said
a band on the label.
I always said S-BAM, and I probably will
It's
continue to say S-BAM. Spam. It's too. I'm gonna say S-BAM. It's much easier for me. I already mispronounce enough things on this show, so let's keep doing it. Jughead's Revenge. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. I really like this band. I think they never got enough love in the '90s for being right up there in my opinion with Good Riddance and those bands in terms of like melodic hardcore. So I'm gonna go 9 out of 10 on Jughead's Revenge. Let me pass it to you, man. What do you think of the song? What do you think of the album? What's your anticipation?
I was kind of lukewarm on this a bit because I was like, "Fuck, man, it's been so long. Like, just an EP. Like, we need an album, man." But yeah, the song's excellent. It sounds just right off the rip, man. That guitar riff. It sounds like Ixnay era Offspring almost. It sounds so fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm real excited for this. I think it's gonna be great. I don't know. I forget how many songs it's gonna be, but hopefully an album is to come too. But yeah, I'm gonna give this like a 10. Like I think this is gonna be awesome.
All right, that's the high. I think that's the highest one. Then that's 19 out of 20. Okay, so let's just talk quickly. The episode's over. We're both tired, so we want to wrap this up. But we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about NoFX, our buddies, who have not one, at least 2 and possibly 3 releases this year. They're postponing our redo on the tier list video. We've got an EP, we've got a 10-inch, which I don't know if that's the EP. We've got an LP. What do you know about this slew of, which I'm sure are lackluster releases and details, anticipation about them?
Yeah, so interesting stuff coming up for NoFX. So there's an album which is called Everybody Else's. Then they're doing a box set. It's 10 10-inch records. And what it is they're demo versions of songs. Everybody Else is Insane. So there's a demo on the A side of each record, and then there's an acoustic version of each song so there's 20 songs in total, but it's only 10 unique songs. The box set cost $150, and it's sold out. So I did not buy it because I am not that big of a fucking moron. So yeah, there's those 2, I guess, are considered unique releases. I don't know when the record's coming out. Oh yeah, actually I do. November 23, like you said, it's supposed to be released. So that's not too far out. And then the third release, I guess technically, is something Fat Mike called NoFX A to Z, which is them re-recording previously released songs, but each one, the song title starts with a different letter of the alphabet. So yeah, there's that. And then I guess a fourth one maybe, I guess, is EP, which is called Half Album.
Yeah.
He said something about. So 4 individual NoFX releases. If you guys collect records, you know every week NoFX reissues a record on a different color variant. So yeah, basically set up direct deposit from your job to go to Mike Burkett's fucking bank account, because god fucking damn, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, like, the last few NoFX records, they weren't horrible, but like, I'm not heartbroken that NoFX is calling it quits as far on the touring side of things. I guess they're gonna keep releasing music. I don't know. I really don't care, honestly. I mean, I don't hate the new stuff, but I could have lived without it. I am looking forward to seeing them in St. Petersburg, Florida in September, so that's cool. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll give a rating for all of it. I'll say let's go with a 6 on NoFX. I'm kind of lukewarm on this stuff.
I think you're... So, long story short, NoFX was my absolute favorite band from like 1999 through 2009. And then I think after Coaster, there's a pretty steep decline in quality. It's like everything after self-entitled for me, I could take it or leave it, but I always felt like I'd rather be listening to something else. Like I'll always have that love for NoFX, but it isn't there for me. And to think that this new album, especially when you're talking the one with demo versions and acoustic versions, that one is a 0 for me. Absolutely not. I won't even. I probably won't even listen to it. I don't like demo versions. I don't like acoustic versions. So cross that off the list. The other one, if it's anything like the last two, I'll probably listen to it 2 or 3 times and move on. So maybe 3 out of 10. I can't even. 3 out of 10, and that's only because it is NoFX, and maybe they could pull a rabbit out of the hat, but I don't think so. I think it's over for them. I think it's been over for the better part of 15 years. So let's just toss our dirt on the pile, and we'll sing.
I'm looking forward to the Co-Defendants record more than I am stuff. So yeah,
that's saying something. I don't want to go like all in railing on Fat Mike, but that co-defendants for me is a big pass. Not my thing. I mean, I outgrew the transplants about.
I think it's fun. I don't know, man. It's not that serious.
I don't know what it is, but it's just missing the mark for me. I mean, by all means, like if they want to have a little fun and make a rap adjacent album. Sure. But I mean, I'm not looking forward to it. So, I'll go a 2.5 for NoFX for the whole shebang. The quantity over quality they should call this year for NoFX. Box them all up. Make another box set 2023, quantity over quality, and sell. There you go. So that's gonna wrap it up. We have a lot more albums on the list. If you want to check them out, punkrockradarr.com. I'm always updating it. Dylan's always updating it too. Every time we get wind of something, it goes into the TBD column, and if we have a definitive date, it goes on to the other column. So go check them out. If there's anything we missed, you could add it there. You can comment down below, and we'll add it. Dylan, anything else you want to say before we wrap up this video?
Yeah, we're probably gonna do another 2 of these maybe. So if we miss something, we'll cover it in the next one. I promise you.
Don't promise.
We'll circle. That's a Joe Exotic promise. We'll circle back. Yeah, man, it's been a pretty exciting year. It's flying by, man. So we're almost a quarter of the way through the year.
Yep.
But lots of good stuff. I mean, we got that Bouncing album. We got the Bridge the Gap album coming out. Those are both within the month. So lots of good shit. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that hasn't even been announced yet that's gonna come up at some point before the end of the year. So should be a very good year for punk rock. A lot of exciting new bands. The mainstays are starting to come out of hibernation. So exciting stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody, and see ya.